Hi guys, hope you're all doing okay. So, wee bit of a history lesson tonight. I have these old cap badges, but they're not really from a military unit per se. They were involved with the war. They're from Forestry unit, Forestry battalions. So, this cap badge is the Canadian Forestry Battalion overseas. And these guys were on the go in the First and Second World War. This is the Canadian Forestry Corps badge. Now, in the First World War, they actually took sawmills to France and cut timber for shoring, for the trenches, for duckboards, and any other timber needs, ammunition boxes, gun stocks even. They cut material for that back in Britain. So they were on the go from 1916 to 1920, then they were disbanded. And when the Second World War broke out, they were called upon again. And a lot of them were stationed in Scotland, and that's how I got to find out about them. Because I worked in forestry for a few years, and I found the old remnants and bits and pieces and asked about it, and I was told the Canadians were here during the war, and I was like, crikey. And then years later I found these cap badges at the car boot sale. So these chaps were affectionately known as the Sawdust Fusiliers, which is a really nice name, and I'm sure they would have had a chuckle if they knew that, or if they were called that, because that is exactly what they were: soldiers producing sawdust, producing materials for the war effort, from anything from a boat to an aeroplane to a truck. They were all, timber was involved in building them all back in those days. And the cap badge is interesting. It's got two axes, maple leaf, crown. It's even got a wee beaver on it up top here. So that one was the Canadian Forestry Battalion overseas, and the Canadian Timber Corps badge, Canadian Forestry Corps badge, sorry, has got the crown, big fir tree, maple leaves at the bottom, and a wee beaver in between the two. Don't know if you can make that out. So it was reckoned by the Forestry Commission in Britain at the time of the Second World War that for every serving personnel it was going to take 5 mature trees to see them through the war. Now that's a hell of a lot of timber, and if it wasn't for the Canadian Forestry Corps, the Canadian Forestry Battalion overseas, guys from Newfoundland, guys from British Honduras came as well and cut down timber. Not sure about their cap badge, but these guys helped us win the war, and a wee thank you to the Sawdust Fusiliers. And it's nice to have these old things, and they're quite unusual in their own right, and they just kind of found their way into my hands. And it's just another wee bit of storytelling history of a woodsman and woodsmen that came here to help us during the wars. Cheers guys, hit the like button, subscribe, do what you need to do, and more blethers will come. Cheers.